China is interfering in elections around the world. But now, the Chinese Communist Party has a new tool in its arsenal: artificial intelligence. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. China is interfering in elections around the world. They've targeted the United States, Canada, and of course, Taiwan. In the old days, their tools included everything from propaganda and disinformation to outright intimidation. The good news is they haven't had a lot of success. Despite the CCP's best efforts, Taiwan elected the anti-CCP candidate in this year's election. Guess that disinformation campaign and constant military encroachment didn't work so well, did it? But now, the Chinese Communist Party has a new tool in its arsenal: artificial intelligence. I don't know if I should be sad that robots are taking more human jobs, or happy that shady election influencers are out of a job. This is according to a new report by Microsoft Threat Intelligence. Why is Microsoft putting out this report and not, say, the CIA or NSA? I have no idea. I'm also not sure whom I trust less: faceless US deep state alphabet agencies or a monopolistic international corporation with ties to the World Economic Forum. But regardless, the report came from Microsoft and it laid out all sorts of ways that CCP-controlled threat actors are now using AI to mess with other countries. Let's start with Taiwan. For the CCP, there was a lot riding on the recent election in Taiwan, so of course they put their best man on the job, a threat actor codenamed Storm 1376 by Microsoft, and commonly known as Spamiflage or Dragon Bridge. Is it a man, a woman, a group, a brain in a jar operating a mech? No one knows, but it's definitely a threat. On the day of Taiwan's election, Storm 1376 posted videos on YouTube seemingly containing audio of dropped-out independent party candidate Terry Go endorsing a CCP-preferred candidate in the race. The videos followed fraudulent letters spread across the internet that had made the same claim. Only Go never made such an endorsement. The audio was a deepfake, an AI-generated copy of Go's voice, saying something that he never actually said. Go's campaign said as much, and the AI was apparently blatant enough that YouTube almost immediately caught on and took the videos down. I'm going to say this now for posterity. If you ever hear me endorsing the CCP, it's either AI or Alzheimer's, and nothing in between. Storm 1376 also posted videos featuring AI-generated news anchors telling lies about Taiwanese officials, as well as unrest in Myanmar. Fun fact, some of the news anchors were generated by a tool designed by ByteDance, the owner of TikTok. This technology has also been used in other countries. Canada's government also revealed that Chinese hackers used AI to enhance videos during their own elections. These videos used the likeness of a Canada-based Chinese dissident in a campaign targeting Canadian members of parliament by falsely depicting the dissident making inflammatory remarks about Canada's government. Thankfully, Canada realized they were fakes and didn't punish him in the most brutal way possible in Canada, by telling him they're not mad, just disappointed, eh? Meanwhile, in the US, when the tragic Maui fires broke out, Storm 1376 spread conspiracy theories stating that the US military tested a weather weapon on the island, which is ridiculous. You can tell the US doesn't have a weather control device because if it did, then why would Washington, D.C. hit itself with a tropical storm? You think the seat of the American government is that incompetent? Well, now that I say it out loud, I can see why people believe this theory. But what's amazing is how far this went. Storm 1376 even created AI-generated images of burning coastal roads and residences. China's also used AI to foment outrage and fake news over the dispersal of wastewater from Fukushima in Japan, using AI-generated memes. Yes, this was made by an AI. For a long time, China has been trying to interfere with American elections. AI has given the Communist Party a powerful new tool to do it. And as we enter another election year, I have one thing to say to you. I fully endorse the CCP and its preferred candidate. You should too. Hey, do you like China Uncensored? Well, I can't afford to keep making it without your support. on the crowdfunding website patreon.com/ChinaUncensored. All it takes is $1 an episode. I usually make about 12 episodes a month, but if that's too much for you, you can always set a monthly limit. So you can help me continue to uncensor China for just $1 a month. And as a thank you to everyone who gives, I'll answer one of your questions at the end of an episode. Today's question comes from DixieFish01. Wonder why people of Hong Kong just don't leave for America, since most of them seem very wanting of freedom from CCP's authoritarianism. And with the USA border being what it is right now, seems like immigration to the USA wouldn't be that difficult for them. That's a great question, Dixie Fish. After the CCP passed the national security law, the US did make it easier for Hong Kongers to come and stay in the US. And pretty much everyone I knew from the protests is either in jail or in exile. And it is very important that Hong Kongers keep up the fight, and the only way to do that is largely internationally, just like how there's a huge community of Tibetans in exile. But not everyone wanted to abandon Hong Kong. And I think this is something hard for modern Americans in our extremely individualistic society to understand. Let's take a look at Socrates. After being sentenced to death, it was expected he would flee Athens in exile. His followers tried to get him to do just that. He could have taken refuge in Thebes. Instead, he chose to stay and drink hemlock. And that's because for him to leave Athens and the rhythms of its city, the people, the land, the worship of its gods, that entire community, would mean the death of Socrates. Even if he started a new life in Thebes, that would not be the same person. And I think it's that way for a lot of Hong Kongers too. They wouldn't be Hong Kongers if they weren't living in Hong Kong. It's a really horrible situation the CCP has put the people of Hong Kong into, where they're forced to choose between exile or a life under a brutal authoritarian regime. Thanks for your question and your support, Dixie Fish. And if you like deep thoughts like the one I just gave, check out the latest episode of my new show, Deep Thoughts While Gaming, about the game Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. And you can join Dixie Fish on Patreon by clicking on that orange button. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.